This is episode number 79. This is the formula I use to help people lose weight forever. Welcome everybody to another episode here in Body and Mind Transformation by Custom Body Fitness. This is your health coach Sandro Torres, and today I'm gonna give you that formula I use for people to lose weight. Many people think that losing weight is only about exercising and eating healthy, which is true that these habits are gonna help you to lose weight and stay healthy and tone your body. Yeah, but it's not gonna help you keep it forever if you don't apply the next points, the next formula I'm gonna give you, because this is more about exercising and eating healthy. If losing weight and getting toned and being in shape, it will be that easy, so then people will do it without a problem. But there is more behind that, and that's exactly what I'm gonna talk to you in this talk. And I'm gonna give you everything so you can take it home and you can lose weight, tone your body, stay in shape, and be healthy forever. Not for a couple months or years, forever. So without even more introduction, let's listen to the talk. At CBF, we know that for you to change your body, you need to change your mind. Exercise and eating healthy is only part of the plan. We care about our members as we care about our family, because our members become our family. It is not about competition, but support. It is not about being the strongest or the fastest, but about you defeating your negative self. It is about working together and making the task challenging and have fun. By the end, what matters is not how hard the session was, but that you take control of your mind so you can take control of your body. My name is Sandro Torres, and I'm happy you are part of our family. Welcome to Custom Body Fitness. A couple of things that I was thinking is that, like you, I continue my education, and I read a lot and I take a lot of courses. And not only that, I sit and whatever I'm learning, I come out with a lot of new ideas. New ideas, not because I created those ideas, it's because I transform those ideas that I'm learning, I put in a different way and I create something else. Here is a great example. A book, the words already existed. So you put all the words together and you come up with a new idea, which is a completely different book. So why I'm telling you this? Because math is pretty straightforward. You do 2 plus 2, you get 4. So that's, you can get an equation, you can do, you can multiply, you can divide, and so on. When we're talking about concepts, when we're talking about theories, it's a little bit more difficult because we don't see those numbers. We don't see those results right away. And we want to see those results right away. So what are we doing right now? I'm giving you a formula for you to put it in practice. Depending, once again, how far you want to go, it's how you're going to apply this formula. So we're going to do a small recap about what have been talking about, so you can put the formula together. So write this down so you have an idea how you're going to start and how you're going to end. So let's do the first thing. Remember, for you to start losing weight, you have to know your why. Okay? So that's the first step. Think about that. And by the way, I'm going to throw a quote right there. I don't remember who said this. But this quote is straightforward. When this makes sense, everything gets easy. People don't change until the pain of not changing is stronger than the pain of changing. So if you're comfortable where you are right now, you're not going to change until that pain is completely more intense than the pain of changing. because there is pain for you to change. So that's very powerful. So that's the next point, the moment of change. Okay? Okay, then the next one, and the question is your beliefs. You really need to challenge your beliefs. Nobody else is going to do it, only you. And now it comes to hands-on, and we're going to talk a little bit on this real quick, because you should have your goals, which is the goal setting. Once you have the why, once the pain is stronger of changing, then you challenge your beliefs, then you can put in practice goal setting, right? And goal setting, we already talked about that the last 2 seminars. We talk about your long-term goal, your short-term goal. We talk about your eating habits. I give you a couple clues about how to set up those goals. Your schedule, how you're going to get rid of those things that you're not supposed to eat, the processed foods, the added sugar drinks, and so on. So you should have set up those goals, and you should be doing those goals every day, because that is what is going to give you those results. If you don't put that in practice, you're not going to get results. Okay? So after that, we talk about another very important part of it. So you have your car already, you're going camping, and you have everything in your car. Imagine that. So right now, you're going into a journey. So you have a car, you have everything, you check your car, and so on. To get to the camping site, you're going to drive 2 hours, 3 hours. But there's going to be inconvenience. So that's the road that you're taking right now. Within the road, you may get a flat tire, you may get into traffic, you need to stop and get gas, and so on. So in your journey right now of weight loss in your life, that's what we talked in last seminar. We talk about the inconvenience. Remember, to me, it's easy dividing my life into 5 areas, because I know where I can find those inconveniences, because those are the important things that make me happy. My spiritual growth, my family, my health, my profession, my finances. I put all my energy there. The rest, I don't care. I mean, I care, but not as much as this. All my energy goes here. Now, remember the inconvenience. If you can get depressed for any reason, for whatever it happens, you can get depressed. That's an inconvenience. You can fight with your spouse. Your kids can be sick. You can have a death within your family. That's an inconvenience. In your health, you may get injured. You may get sick. You may get illness. On your profession, you may lose your job. On your finances, you may not have the money to pay all your bills. So those are inconveniences. And remember, some inconveniences are done because of the decisions that we're making. Some of them are done just because life happens. And remember, if you maintenance those areas, the drop that you're going to do is not going to be bad. And we talk about crisis. The crisis is when many times 4 of those areas get hit. And then you have problems everywhere. And only one is safe. That's a crisis. And that's when most people drop their weight loss program, drop their health, because they're trying to put all the energy everywhere and they don't maintenance everything. Remember that? So that's how to deal with problems. That's the inconvenience. So now you have an equation. You know how to start. You set up your goals. There is inconvenience that you have to be ready for. And you can apply this equation in every single area of your life that we already talked about. Okay? So that's the summary of the whole thing that we've been talking that last 2 past seminar. Now we're going to, once we talk about this is going to make sense to you. This is only a reminder. Everything that we're talking right now is a reminder. Let's talk about the next reminder. I'm going to tell you a little story. So Mary is ready to lose weight. She noticed that she has tried many easy ways to lose weight. She hasn't get anywhere. She always regained that weight, and she loses it and she regains that weight. So finally, she decides to hire a professional. She sits with a professional, and they go over the whole plan that we just talked about. They set up goals. They talk about the environment. They talk about relapses. They talk about eating healthy. They talk about within eating healthy. They talk about veggies. They talk about the sugary drinks. They talk about everything. They talk about the motivation. They talk about scheduling, and they talk about eating on time. All that. She noticed that it's a big plan. She noticed it's going to take her a year to get there. Then she started making conclusions in her head. She's noticed once again that it's not a quick fix, that it's not an event, that it's a process going on there. The same thing happens as an example with Keith. He knows actually that everything is a process. He's an architect. The reason why he decided to be an architect because he loves houses and he loves to draw plans and so on. And he has a dream house that for a long time he's planning to actually build this house. What happens with him? He knows that he needs to save the money, and since he knows the whole process, he knows that he needs to draw the plans. He needs to come on with the little details because he wants a contemporary house with details that stands out in his neighborhood. So he wants it very special. So he needs to do a research within the house that he's actually creating. Then once he has the whole thing in his head, everything begins with an idea. Then he takes the plans to the city. They need to be approved. They need to go to that paperwork. That is a process in itself. Then after that, they need to hire a general contractor. The general contractor, they need to hire a plumber, insulation company. They need to hire a foundation company. They need to hire a drywaller. They need to hire a roofer. They need to hire a lot of professionals. Within that, every single profession needs to go to their own time accordingly within how they're building that house. They know it's not going to take 1 year. It's going to take a little bit longer than that. They plan all that. Now, within that, there is inconveniences for the city, things that weren't building the way it's supposed to be, and you name it. Keith noted that that's a process. When I started exercising myself, I remember the reason why I started. I got very motivated because I met this guy. He was bodybuilding. He looked completely different than everybody else, and I got very motivated. I really want to have that body. And I make a bet with him, and I bet him. I say, in 3 months, I'm going to be just like you. And you see me at the gym every day, pushing, lifting heavy, doing my best. 3 months pass, and I wasn't even very close to him. I barely got like a little bit of tone, but nothing close. What I noticed there is that it was a process. What I'm telling you these stories is because I want you to understand clearly. It's a process. It's not a quick fix. Let's eat healthy right now and let's drop it. Let's do this. Now, within that process, we're all going to make mistakes. It's okay to make those mistakes, but don't let yourself down because you make those mistakes. Get on your feet and continue with your plan. You have a plan. You have an equation that I'm giving you right now. Keep that equation for your whole life because it's going to help you every single time you go back and you have that equation. Every single time you go back and you have that equation. You know what to do. John is an alcoholic. He has been suffering with this problem for a long period of time. He has lost his job. He has problem with the wife. Financially, he's struggling in many areas. Who's sustaining the house is actually the wife. She brings food to the table. She pays the mortgage and everything. John has lost a lot of jobs because of his alcoholism. He has anger problems. And when he feels sick, actually not sick, hangover, because he drinks a lot, he calls sick. That's the reason why he lost his job, so many jobs. And he's failing in the new job. He mistreats his family for the same problem that when he doesn't drink, he gets angry. And he doesn't know how to deal with it. Finally, many times, the wife told him, I'm going to divorce you. He never believed it until finally one day, the wife was very serious. In that moment, he took it serious. Something clicked. It was a moment of change. He decided to change. He noticed that he was losing his family. His family was very important for him, super important. And he doesn't want to lose his family. So he promised the wife, I'm going to change. And he started thinking in his head, this time what I'm going to do in my life, I'm going to learn how to manage my anger. I'm going to treat my family just great. I'm going to take them for the trips. I'm gonna stop drinking so I can be at work and I can be the leader of my house and bring the money to the table, so I can be the leader that I'm supposed to be. He started thinking about all those things. 3 weeks, 4 weeks pass, and he goes back to drinking. So the wife divorced him. What happened? Same thing that we talked when we started. When we started, I tell you a little bit about my story. One thing that I don't forget, and this is the reason why I wake up at 4 in the morning when I need to wake up at 4 in the morning, 3:30 if I have to wake up at 3:30 in the morning, and I go to bed 10, 11, and I'm work all the time. It's not because I'm special. I have something that drives me to do that. What is it? The pain. The pain that I went through, it always comes every day, every day, every day. I don't want to go through that pain again. John forgot about his pain. That pain that made him change in that moment that he said, I'm going to change for 3 weeks, he forgot about it. So, when you write down your why, your moment of change, it's very important in your goal setting that you go back all the time. Remember, what are you doing this? Remember. Because if you don't remember, you're going to fail. Because it's not the goal setting that is going to change you. It's not the diet. It's not the exercising. If you set up this computer the right way, the eating and the exercising becomes very easy. So go back and revisit your goals. Very important that you go back. Every day if you need to go every day. 3 times a week if you need to go. And bring that pain, bring that feeling back. Okay? So right now we have covered 2 points. Knowing that it's a process, that it's going to take you time, that you need that equation with you, those steps for you to get there. The second point that we already covered, revisit your goals, those feelings. So after John got divorced, he continued drinking. He continued drinking. And when he's depressed, he called his friends. He wants to talk about his depression, how bad life is for him. And the friends that he called to, they actually feel the same way. When they get together, the first thing they think about is, let's go drink. When he feels lonely, he goes to the bar because he wants to meet some people. He drinks. When he goes to a party, now that he's divorced, he goes to a party that is drinks, he drinks. Now, he comes out with the excuse of, I'm going to buy alcohol because I have visitors in my house. So he has tequila, he has vodka, he has whiskey, he has beer, he has wine. So when he feels depressed at home, the way that he deals with it is drinking. There is no other way for him to deal with it. Around 77% of prisoners that are released in 30 states in the United States, they get caught again and they get put in jail again within 4 years. Within 4 years, 90% of people, of alcoholics, rehab alcoholics, relapse. And I already give you the statistics about the weight loss. Remember, 95% of the 100% people who actually join a weight loss program drop the program. The 95% of the 5% left regain the weight within, I think it's 2 years. And only one person out of 400, which is the 5% of the 95% of the 5%, is the one who actually finished the program and keep the weights off. We already talked about, you already probably concluded, and I'm just going to repeat myself so we are on the same page. We already talked about how your moment of change and your why is very important, that pain. But there is one more thing that is important. What I tell you John's story, because his environment. We relax because of the environment. Now this is very clear to you. Now let's talk a little bit about the environment. There is McDonald's. There is any other fast restaurant. There is a lot of processed foods out here. It's not their fault. That's the environment, but it's not their fault. It's our decision. We decide what to do with it. Because bad habits, they're never going to go away. They're always going to be here. Even though the environment do contribute to our relapses or weight gain or bad habits in life, it's not to blame. However, we have the power to clean our environment. If John, instead of calling a friend that he used to drink or he still drinks with, pick up the phone and calls a friend who wants to see him rehab, it'll be a different story. They decide to do something interactive that is going to add value to his life. What happens when you hang out with people that actually don't help you to lose weight? When you decide to go watch it, nothing wrong with doing those things, just I want you to make a conclusion. When you decide to go watch a movie together in their house and eat Cheetos with them. Or when you decide to go to the bar and just snack and drink. Or when you decide instead of hanging out, let's go for a hike, go to the restaurant and just order the wrong food. When you hang out, or people that not want to see your progress because they want to put you in the same situation they are. That's an environment right there affecting you. You need to clean up your environment if you want to be successful. What about hanging out with the right people? With the people who wants to see you active, who wants to see you strong, who wants to see you smart, who wants to see you happy, who wants to see you being the leader or a great mom or great parent in the house, who wants to see you financially free. What do you think these people is going to do for you? What advice is going to give you? What is going to teach you? Instead of having processed food at home, what can you have? Can you get rid of it? We come up with a lot of excuses. I bought the cereal because I'm running out of the house. Yeah, you bought the cereal, you have it in your house, that's the environment affecting you. Get rid of it. Cook your food before. You have many options. Make sure you go to bed later and prepare your food for the next day, or get up earlier and prepare it in the morning. Find something quick that you can make yourself, but clean up your environment. If you go to a trip, here's a great example. John decides to go to a hot trip. He thinks he's doing something healthy. So he thinks he deserves some positive reinforcement. He does receive some positive reinforcement, but he thinks only for the things that he's doing on the hot trip, probably it's good. But when they finish, what do? They start drinking and eating the wrong food. What's the whole point of the hot trip? Because they're looking forward to do that instead of doing the hiking and all that stuff. So he can do that, but instead when he's in the finish line, I'm going home, I'm doing something else. Thank you so much for inviting me. So what's the point of this one? Clean up your environment. It's very important that you pay a lot of attention to the environment. It's your choice. It's nobody else's choice. It's always going to be your choice. Now, let me tell you something, because I experienced this. I have a very good friend. He, every single time I see him, he just lifts my spirit. He's amazing. I don't see him very often. I would love to see him very often. I talked to him today, as a matter of fact. It has been like 4 months since I saw him last time. I love to hang out with him because he gives me great advice about everything. He listens. He not only listens, he has a great company. He gives me a great advice. That's my choice. The more I climb into my habits, the less friends I have. But these friends, I can count with them. I can really count with them. When I'm really into the weeds, like many people say, I can count with them. So what I'm saying with this It's your decision. I know it's difficult. That's the reason why many times we decide not to exercise, not to leave those friends that are not helping us, not to leave those bad habits, not helping us, the wrong food, etc. Because everything requires effort. That's the reason why I tell you, when your pain is stronger to change, when your pain is actually stronger because you in that bad position, then moving forward into a better position, then that's when you're going to change. Now that's the last point that I want to talk to you. We always weighting things when we think. We do this unconsciously. We don't do this consciously, but we always weight things. So here's a great example. Let's talk a little bit about exercise. The bad things about not exercising, you say, I might gain weight, I might become weaker, I might have less energy, but it's okay. I'm gonna save time. I'm not gonna be feeling my muscles they're burning. I can save some time and so on. So you weigh in that, the positives and the negatives of exercising. Then you come over here and you say, should I exercise? And you say, no, it's gonna be burning, it's gonna be tiring, it's gonna be an hour of my time. I can invest it somewhere else that time. But then you weigh it again and you say, but I can lose weight, I can become stronger, I can look better, and so on. So you weigh in the positives and negatives in both sizes. And whenever you decide which one is more painful, that's where you go. That's when you decide, I exercise, I don't exercise. And the same thing when you're eating. When you choose the wrong food, the same, you weigh in everything. Unconsciously, you're doing it, and then you make a conclusion, and you say, so you need to be very, very, very aware of your thinking. And that's the difference between that people that actually continue with their program. They're very aware of that thinking. They make conscious decision. They don't just let the brain win. Instead of the thoughts controlling that person, the person controls the thought. This is what I want to think, this is what I'm going to do because I know where I'm going. Okay, everybody, so you got it right there. You're here. Everything I had to tell you, I use this for my members of Custom Body Fitness, and I use it for myself. Let's do the summary of the whole thing so you know you apply this without a problem. The first thing, remember that you need a moment of change. That pain that you're going through, it has to be more painful than the pain of changing. Think about that. It's super important. So when you compare pains, think about the pain that you're going through and then compare it with the benefits of changing. And then keep that in your head forever. Don't ever forget why are you changing or why you change. Second thing is, why are you doing this? Why? It's very important. One thing is the pain, the other thing is why. Be honest with yourself, whatever is the reason that you're doing this for. Because you want to attract a mate, because you want to take care of your health, because you're self-confident, because the way the clothes fit, because you're tired of not fitting in the public seats and you need to take 2 of them instead of 1. Why? The third thing is set up goals. Very important. Don't just leave it vague out there. I'm gonna lose weight. Set up a specific goals with time limits. They should be realistic and they should be flexible. The next thing that you should keep in mind is you're gonna have problems, crisis. That's life. Deal with them. Don't ever stop with your goals. Just deal with those problems, because if you stop with your goals, it's gonna bring more problems. The problems that you're trying to get rid of. So if you have those problems, the crisis, you need to continue with your program. Next is, this is a process. It's not an event, it's a process. You need to know that this is gonna be for your whole life. So set up your goals, follow those goals. You know there's gonna be problems, and continue with the process. And lastly, clean your environment. If you don't want to relapse, clean your environment. If you relapse, clean your environment. Whatever you do, clean your environment if you don't want to go back to the same. So that's the summary right there. Please share this talk with people who needs to listen to this, who wants to change their body, who wants to lose weight, who wants to tone their body, who wants to improve their health. Share it with somebody who you love and you know it's gonna benefit that person. Thank you so much for continuing following us, and remember to stay mentally and physically healthy and close to God. And we're gonna be tuning in the next episode. I really appreciate you are listening to us and continue sharing our talks. Talk to you in the next episode.